At least 30 were killed and more than 200 injured as a protest in POK turned violently explosive. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir erupted after authorities banned the leading protest platform, the Joint Awami Action Committee, turning a political crackdown into a violent movement. Protesters clashed with security forces after the shooting of a local trader, whose death led to open fury on Rawalakot streets. Rawalakot reeled from intense violence after the JAAC ban as protesters allegedly used rifles and petrol bombs. At least 30 people were reportedly killed and over 200 injured in violent clashes across Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, as days of protests and crackdowns spiraled into some of the deadliest unrest in the region. Security forces on June 7 clashed with protesters in Rawalakot, turning what began as political demonstrations into an armed street battle with live fire and heavy force. The authorities' decision to ban the Joint Awami Action Committee, a coalition that had become the main platform for voicing economic and political grievances in POK, triggered the unrest. The authorities' decision to ban the Joint Awami Action Committee, a coalition that had become the main platform for voicing economic and political grievances in POK, triggered the unrest. Authorities outlawed the group last week, citing security and public order risks, a move critics say was aimed at silencing dissent rather than protecting civilians. Tensions exploded after a local trader was shot during a confrontation with police on June 5. The trader's death drew large crowds to the hospital mortuary where his body was taken, as mourners and activists gathered to demand justice and accountability from the authorities. Officials said security forces then moved in to disperse the growing crowd, which sparked wider clashes and a deadly escalation. Rawalakot's commissioner claimed that some protesters were armed with rifles and petrol bombs. He said 6 protesters were killed during the security response, a figure flatly rejected by locals who insist the real death toll is much higher than the official line. Locals and JAAC supporters have disputed the casualty numbers, alleging that many more were killed or injured and accusing the authorities of hiding the true scale of the crackdown. The clashes erupted just a day before the civil society alliance's planned mass protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The alliance had vocally opposed 12 reserved seats for refugees in the July 27 polls, arguing that the arrangement distorts representation and dilutes the voice of POK residents. JAC activists also protested rolling internet blackouts, spiraling inflation, and chronic electricity shortages, saying daily life had become unbearable for ordinary people. Long-running issues such as unemployment, perceived exploitation of local resources, and political marginalization have further fueled anger. The JAC vehemently rejected its designation as a terror group, calling the label an act of political oppression. The Human Rights Commission of Pakistan raised serious concerns over the ban on the committee, warning that outlawing civic platforms only drives dissent underground. The HRCP condemned excessive use of force, civilian deaths, and imposed communication blackouts, urging authorities to restore rights, lift curbs, and open dialogue.